Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live in many fantasy basketball leagues. Ended on Sunday, and on Sunday I posted my all mostly one undrafted fantasy basketball team for 2023-24. You can check that out. But I'm going to switch it up today. This is going to be my all disappointment fantasy basketball team for 2023-24. Now, let me start by saying I am not going to include players who are disappointments because of injuries. Of course, those who drafted guys like LaMelo Ball or Ja Morant were very disappointed because they were not in the lineup that much. But these guys were disappointments for how they played on the court as to compared to where they were drafted on average in fantasy leagues. Now, when I mention average draft positions, I'm using the website fantasypros.com, which takes the consensus of three different sources: Yahoo, ESPN, and CBS, and shows their overall rank using those three. I included two guards, two forwards, and a center. So let's get into it, starting with rookie Scoot Henderson of the Portland Trailblazers. On average was taken 70th overall, the third pick in the 2023 NBA draft. I mean, his numbers aren't that bad: 13.7 points, 5.3 assists, 3.1 rebounds. Fact is, though, he has been extremely inefficient, shooting just 38.5% from the field and making 1.3 threes per game at a 31.2% clip. Maybe playing a little bit better as the season has gone on, but really killed that field goal percentage category for his owners. Next, the other guard, I'm going to put Jordan Poole of the Washington Wizards. On average, drafted 40th overall. Now, when Poole joined the Wizards, many saw him as a long shot candidate to possibly win the scoring title, and has been far from that for Poole on a terrible Wizards team. He is averaging 17.4 points per game, 3 points less than he averaged for the Warriors last season, shooting just 41.3% from the field, making less threes per game than he did last season. Rebounds and assists essentially the same, but I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people thought Poole would average at least 20 points per game for the Wizards, and probably more than that, and he hasn't done so. One forward, I'm going to go with Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, don't get me wrong, Mikal Bridges has been a very good player this season. The problem is, on average, he was the 21st player selected and hasn't really performed like that. Now, when he joined the Nets last season, in his 27 games, averaged 26.1 points. So widely expected that he would be the top scorer for the Nets this season. Instead, it's been Cam Thomas. Bridges averaging 20 points, 4.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists. I mean, they're good numbers, but again, 21st selection overall. He had shot 47.5% for Brooklyn when he joined them last season. That's down to 43.8% on the season thus far this year. Other forward, going with Andrew Wiggins of the Golden State Warriors. Wiggins, on average, was the 83rd player selected. But the problem is he's barely been fantasy relevant this year. Minutes way down, 27 compared to 32.2 last season. His 45.4 field goal percentage is the lowest since joining the Warriors. Threes way down, 1.3 per game compared to 2.4 last season. His 13 points per game are a career low as well. Just has not been fantasy relevant for a lot of the season. Has had some games where he's been completely invisible. And at center, I'm going to go with Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz. On average, selected 60th overall. Now, Kessler finished third in Rookie of the Year voting last season, and he's still an elite shot blocker. 2.4 blocks per game, is actually third in the NBA, so he really helps in that category. The problem is he hasn't taken a step further from last season. Um, hasn't been starting, only 22 starts this year. Field goal percentage still awesome at 65.4%, but that's down from 72% last season. Points per game down to 8.1, 9.2 last season. Rebounds 7.5, down from 8.4 last season. Um, Struggles from the free throw line, although he doesn't go that much. It was just expected that he would take a step further for Utah, maybe become a double double guy. That's why he was on average selected 60th overall, and it just has not happened yet for Kessler. So that is my all disappointment fantasy basketball team for 2023-24. Again, I did not include guys who were disappointments because of injuries, only their play on the court. Let me know in the comments who were some of the most disappointing guys you drafted this season for your team. But I do this for all sports. I've done it with baseball, fantasy baseball, and fantasy football. I usually do it every year as well. Just something I enjoy doing. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.